For more on the mayhem, we say hello to a man who knows what it feels like to hold that light heavyweight belt above his head. CBS Sports combat analyst Sugar Rashad Evans. Also smiling ear to ear coming off a big Sparty win on Saturday, but I digress. As for the action in Dubai, the pride of Danbury, Connecticut, Rashad, Glover Teixeira finally to the mountaintop, says to Błachowicz, pass me that strap. Rashad, dude turned 42 on Thursday. Likely his last chance to get his hand on the belt, and he gets it done in convincing fashion. How surprised were you, not just by that result, but by how convincingly we did name a new champion?
Man, Joe, age ain't nothing but a number. Glover Teixeira really showed that in his performance. I mean, great fight acumen, just way to dominate all the way through from the first round until he finished him in the second round. But, you know, what was the true thing in this fight that held this fight together for Glover Teixeira was his ability to get the fight on the ground. Listen, he's not a spring chicken anymore, and he understands that. He's not going to try to stand there and bang with these guys who may be faster, who may be a little bit better striker. No, forget about it. He's going to take it to the ground, and he's going to grind on. That first round, Glover did a good job of just demoralizing Jan, just grinding him, just letting him know that this is the kind of fight it's going to be. And then the second round, once he got him down again, Jan knew it was going to be a long round to get out of the rest of the second round, so he succumbed to the pressure of Glover Teixeira on top. But I mean, at 42 years old, Joe, to be able to fight like this is a true testament of just taking care of your body, but more importantly, still having that desire and hunger to do it like you did it the first day you did it 20 years ago. In Glover Teixeira's case.
Yeah, unbelievable stuff. A career that needed no defining gets a defining moment here on the weekend. On the other side of this one, we talked a little bit off air. Looked like a bit of an uninspired defense from Błachowicz. Spent the first on his back, flat-footed, and then finished in the second. Quick tap with a world-class grappler on his back, to be fair. Where does Błachowicz go from here now, sort of left to pick up the pieces?
Well, I mean, pick up the pieces indeed is what he's going to have to do. But, you know, he's going to have to just, you know, go back and look at this film and see where things went wrong. And things went wrong for him right away just by not touching enough often with Glover Teixeira with that lead hand, you know, being able to throw some fakes and feints. When you have a guy in there who's going to try to take you down, his best way of victory is through taking you down. You have to really prepare for that in every single aspect of it. That means being able to do things that's like starting and stopping, to throw off the timing and the penetration of a shot, or just making the wrestler feel uneasy and back him up on his heels. You know, Jan did none of that, and he didn't seem to even, you know, be able to kind of get his mind to that. So it kind of shows me that he kind of went in there and didn't prepare for the Glover Teixeira that he was going to face. Maybe he didn't think that his grappling or his wrestling prowess was going to be what it was, but I mean, you snooze, you lose, and he definitely snoozed.
Yeah, post-fight, when asked what went wrong, he said just about everything, and perhaps was resigned to that fact there somewhere in that second round. One fight prior in the co-main, Rashad, Petr Yan versus Cory Sandhagen for the interim bantamweight title. Use whatever qualifiers you'd like to define what we saw, but this one more than worth the price of admission. Sandhagen eating some shots, including a spinning back fist in the third that would have turned out the lights on most anybody. But Jan dictating where this fight took place for the majority of it. Gets the decision and back to the place where he once was, Rashad. Coming off the DQ loss and getting right back on track in this way tells you what about Petr Yan?
It tells me that he's championship material, and by that I mean this. You know, when you're a champion, you're going to have those times when you fall off the mountain, where you have some kind of setback, but it's not the setback that should define who you are. It's your ability to come back, and Petr Yan showed that. He showed that he has a concentration, he has a skill, most definitely, but he has a hard work and the heart and determination to get that belt back, and he did that. I mean, what a great fight, and especially the way that he started off the fight. I mean, you know, Sandhagen was having his way at him, being able to create some difficult angles, making it really hard for Petr Yan to really just, you know, land any shots. You know, at times you've seen Petr Yan just kind of wading in, and they say if you can't be first, you need to be last when it comes to those strikes, because in that way the referees say, okay, he didn't land the first strike, but I see he did win that combination because he landed a meaningful shot last. And that's what Jan did. Petr did a really good job of doing. He did a really good job of landing that last and being last. I would say this though. Sandhagen got himself in a lot of trouble by the fact that, he started off the rounds really, really well, but then a couple of those rounds where he should have won, he lost because he laid off the gas about a minute and a half and let Petr Yan come on pretty strong and left an impression on the judge's mind. So this fight was a lot closer to me than it showed on paper, but I mean, not on paper, but on the judges' scorecards. But great fight by both guys.
Yeah, it was a whole lot of fun to watch start to finish. We also had Islam Makhachev, Khabib's best friend and training partner, taking care of a killer in Dan Hooker in quick order. Makhachev dominating Hooker, wins via first-round submission. Now on a 9-fight win streak, third straight by submission, calls for the title shot after the win. In your eyes, Rashad, has Makhachev done enough, in your opinion, to get that next shot at the lightweight title, obviously coming next in line after Dustin Poirier gets his crack?
Yeah, I definitely think he did enough to, show that he deserved the next title shot. I mean, that was the fight for that. That was a fight to kind of show that he's at that level. That was his coming out party. When we look back on Makhachev and everything that is great about him, we're going to say, you know what? His turning point with the fight where we knew that he really arrived was the Dan Hooker fight. All the pressure's on him. He went out there and he performed, because it's not so much performing that is the problem, but it's the performing when you need to perform. When you have to have that big fight, and he went out there and he had a big fight. And fighting in Abu Dhabi is the closest that they're going to fight to home. So this was a home game for him. So he went out there and he knocked out of the park on a home game.
Yeah, it was fantastic stuff as well. We also saw another brick stacked on top of a brick here for Khamzat Chimaev. Picks up right where he left off after a 13-month layoff due to COVID-19. Wins via first-round submission. Chimaev now 4-0 in the UFC, really stating his case, looking like a Saturday in the park. He's simply been overwhelming. And perfect really isn't an overstatement here. Outlanding opponents over those 4 fights, 254-2. Let me say that again, 254-2. Barely touched in those 4 fights. What's the ceiling here for this young and upcoming star?
Man, Khamzat is one of the guys who I seen train at Extreme Couture, and I was like, wow. And it's very rare for me to say that. I mean, I don't like to just say that to guys, but I said wow because I was just in awe at what he was able to do in training. Now, training is training, but it's the ability that I've seen inside those training rounds. And he goes out there and he displays that, complete confidence. And he is something scary. He can do it on the ground. He can do it with striking, but he's a very smart fighter at that. It's one thing to be physically talented and talented with striking and grappling, but it's another thing to have it between the ears. And he has it between the ears. I seen him when he had his break with long COVID. And for me, I didn't really know if he was going to be able to come back to how we've seen him right now, because he didn't look really good, and he didn't look really good for a long time. So it was kind of very uncertain how he was going to come back, and to see him come back and splash himself on the scene like he did, I think he put the rest of the division on notice and let people know that, hey, you guys got a long way to get rid of me.
No doubt the future is bright, and it's always a blast breaking it down with the champ. Thank you, Rashad.
Thank you, Joe.
The future's bright, and the future's now. Get me to UFC 268. New York, MSG, and look at this card. Usman Covington 2, Rose Namajunas, Weili Zhang. We know what happened the last time those two went head-to-head, and it was a head kick. You also got the right-handed Justin Gaethje laying in weight to take on Michael Chandler. No doubt a live dog there at plus 160. All the fun coming your way November 6th.